Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well, being safe, staying warm, or at least attempting to. Just like my Twitter post said the other day, I stated that I preferred it cold to the heat. Well, I think somebody took that just a little bit too seriously. It's still snowing outside. We're supposed to get a little bit last night, and it's still going. We got 3.5 inches, and it's still falling. It's supposed to be over soon, hopefully. But at least it's a little bit warmer today than yesterday with only 5 degrees. But everybody's staying warm. Welcome in. The Astro Space Uber is now open for business. We dropped our passengers off yesterday, and I know that see that we've got a lot of messages here, and we're going to clean our mailbox up real quick. Most of these are just little reputation changes. As from people we dropped off everywhere, here and there and everywhere. And we'll just keep those for right now, showing where we're allowed to go. So let's check and see who's available for pickup this morning. Who wants a ride? Hey, good morning, Amethyst Neon. How are you doing this morning? Hope you're staying well. Hope you're staying warm. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Let's see, we're at 72 million. We made another almost 10 million yesterday hauling people around. That's not too bad. We want the passenger lounge. Finally warming up a bit there. Good, good. I know it's 16 degrees warmer outside here. It's 5 outside instead of the negative 11 we had yesterday. Oh, that yesterday was just a nightmare. All right, let's see. We got somebody here who wants to go to the freight system. Oh, that's not too bad. Let's see if we can find somebody else going to freight this morning. Looks like we took the wrong one. Should have been going to Nambiquara. That's where we should have been going. That's okay. Let's see. We could grab them and take them too. Okay. 3 people in economy. We can shove them in there. Let's see what they want. 3 people, Danvers Station. Hey, we can accommodate them as well. It's been around minus 40 with wind chill for over a week here. Wow. That was a balmy 0, and that feels nice. I remember when I grew up in Louisiana, it's bad when you could say that you're used to the 100 degrees, but 95 degrees, 90 degrees, it actually felt nice outside. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. We are supposed to start warming up. We are going to be, what'd they say? Our forecast keeps changing. I don't think they really know. See, we're supposed to be above freezing on Friday, but they pushed that back to Saturday. Originally, we weren't supposed to be above freezing until Monday. So I don't think they really know here what's going on. I really don't. Weather forecast changes by the hour. Just like the snow outside, it was only supposed to be about 1 to 3 inches originally. Then they changed it to 1 to 2. They got 3.5 outside and it's still coming down. They even quit plowing the roads. They quit plowing our roads. I don't know if it was the point that they couldn't keep up with it or the fact that they thought it was over and didn't schedule anybody or what, but and then we got the power problems around here where they're shutting people off, doing rolling brownouts to try to keep the system from collapsing. Haven't seen snow around here since January. Yeah, our thing is we haven't really had any big snowfall here in Kansas that lasted a while for about 3 or 4 years. Well, we seen it this year. We got it. We got it. We didn't have anything for the biggest part of winter, but we got it this week. I'd like to share with some places that don't get it, like, say, Hawaii, Florida. But at least the one thing I can say, and I think everybody where I live will agree on, at least there's no ice. It's just been snow. We all hate the ice. Could be worse. Could be in Texas. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that some of the problems were caused by issues that were going on with the power plants. One power plant was down for some kind of a maintenance issue long before this storm was coming in. One in Texas was down for something about the auxiliary water. They weren't getting the proper water flow, so they had to scram the plant. They had to shut it down. And that created a drain on the system because there weren't enough nuke plants available to carry the load. And then, once again, I think it was a lot colder than what they were really expecting. Plus the fact it stretched across 25 states. And I know my buddies down there in Louisiana, they got hit with the ice storm a couple days ago. Now they got snow moving in. I know in Baton Rouge, when snowfall hits, real snowfall, they just shut everything down. They don't have enough sand or salt for the roadways. So it's easier just to shut everything down, tell people stay off the roads. Businesses close, state schools, they shut the interstates down, shut the Mississippi River bridges down. Yeah, they showed pictures of the Mississippi River Bridge yesterday. I saw them. Ice and snow all the way across them. I remember when I lived there, we had a snowstorm come through with, the snowflakes were about a foot across. High winds, 40 miles an hour. Somebody tried crossing the bridge. I think it was a state police officer. And he ended up getting pushed from one side of the bridge to the other. Hitting one guardrail and banging off the other. Yeah, it's been crazy down there. That's normal winter. Yeah, what's normal winter for some people, those of us from the South, not used to this. People don't know how to drive in it. Well, I can't really say that because when the roads are dry, they drive 90 miles an hour on the interstate. When the roads are wet, they drive 90 miles an hour on the interstate. And when they're snowy and icy, they still drive 90 miles an hour on the interstate. And they just... So it's easier just to shut everything down, trying to keep everybody safe. Or so they think. but it turns to a gigantic nightmare down there. People forget how to drive here every winter too. They do us here as well. I mean, it's been a couple years since we had snow actually stick to the ground, so I think they've all forgotten how to drive in it. And I woke up yesterday morning to stream and had two cars sitting in a ditch outside my house. Don't know when they went in because they weren't there when I went to sleep. They were there when I woke up. So I don't know. I just know a tow truck came and pulled them out. People wait till the last second to stop for traffic lights and just slide right on through them. The worst is the 4x4s. They think they're invincible. My wife and I both have 4x4s. We know how to drive in this stuff. Now, ice makes us both a little bit nervous. We're a lot more cautious. Snow is, snow's okay. We don't drive crazy. We don't try to do, anything stupid. We go below the speed limit. We tick other people off, but as long as we're comfortable at a safe driving speed and keep traffic going, that's what we do. They forget they stop just like everybody else. Yeah. The only thing the 4x4s do is provide a lot more traction. That's it. They just... Amethyst Neon, thank you very much for your Prime Gaming subscription. It's greatly appreciated, sir. Welcome to the Delta Fleece. Thank you. Thank you. As we hear voice attack, tell me I'm welcome. But thank you very much. Okay, we dropped off the first guy. Let's see, we probably have some people who are demanding. Okay. I heard I got a message, but apparently I did not. So let's go take the other people and drop them off everywhere. Emma Bakura. But yes, sir, thank you. I don't know. I really think people have been cooped up so long that they've kind of lost their sense. They're just happy to be out of the house and don't know how to drive, don't know how to react, don't know how to do anything. And but it's crazy. It's crazy. Excuse me. It's crazy out there. They predict a little bit of snow here, and everybody runs to go buy milk and bread at the grocery store. We were talking about the rolling brownouts earlier. One of my friends called me up and let me know that they'd been without power for 5 hours. He unfortunately lives too far away to try to make it to where I am. But he said that they got some wood that they were burning in the fireplace to stay warm. But he goes, the power came back on after a couple hours of being off, and then it went off for another 5 hours. He goes, hasn't come back on yet. They're not giving any indication of when they were going to turn it back on for him. That's not good when it's cold. Yeah. He was trying to keep his family warm. I think the temperature at that time was about 1 or 2 degrees outside for both of us. Yeah. He had their grandson with him. He's about 2, so they were fighting to keep him warm. Had him all bundled up in clothes. He was all fussy. But he said they had enough wood. Problem is, though, is that they prefer to have some real heat. The fireplace at least was better than nothing. They have a couple people, I think it was in, I forget where it was. A couple people who died of carbon monoxide poisoning because they were using their car to stay warm, and snow ended up covering up the exhaust pipe. Exhaust backed up in the car and killed them. Yeah, I heard reports someplace else that somebody else had their car going, trying to keep their house warm, and either they didn't open the garage door or something covered the tailpipe, probably snow, but they ended up dying of carbon monoxide poisoning as well. And last night our fire sirens went off about 9 o'clock, so we don't know. You know, people also forget that they're supposed to clean their fireplace. Help get all the creosote, soot, everything out of it that could cause a fire. But you always have to be cautious when the power's out, just like turn on a gas stove and leaving it on. Try to heat your house. It's good for warmth, but that's highly dangerous. I think my wife and I did that 10 years ago. We had a blizzard outside, lost power. But we were cautious. We also had battery operated gas meters set up in a couple places in the house to start detecting if anything went wrong. And we didn't stay right up against it. We stayed across the room from it. It's all being cautious. That's all it is. So I know somebody here last year, and we didn't get any much snow on that last year. Last year it just got cold here. We had somebody last year who actually started a barbecue grill in their living room. And that did not turn out good either. My wife last winter, because we actually did have the power go out a little bit on one of our few cold days, and we were trying to decide what to do for dinner. So I pulled out the gas grill, pulled it out in the garage, backed the truck out to the weather, and grilled out in the garage. Had a nice meal. We had some good chicken. At least we ate good. It was warm. Just don't understand how people think it's a good idea. I don't either, but the way I look at it, if they're doing something like that, it must just be an act of desperation to stay warm. You know, it's not like in the South where a hurricane passes through, temperatures drop from 100 degrees to 80 for a couple days, and then you're without power for a week, and then that temperature starts going back up with the humidity, and you can go get it in your car and start it up to stay cool for a little bit, charge up your cell phone and all that. You don't have anything to worry about. You have to worry about something blocking the tailpipe. It's a lot different with the cold, though. Too many things can go wrong. people drop their guard because they're comfortable. They can relax because they're warm. They get cozy. They fall asleep. I mean, oh, I did land survey for years outside. I can't tell you the number of times that, construction workers have their burn barrel going so that they could walk up to it to get warm. And then again, we walk up to it too to get some warmth, being out there in it with them. I always carried around warming packs for our hands. I always wore 2, 3, 4 pair of socks. One of our guys one time wore battery operated socks to keep himself warm. Something happened. His socks started smoking and he was yanking them off his feet real quick, and we had to give him a couple pair of our socks to help stay warm because he didn't have any other pair of socks on him with him. Yeah, we were laughing at him. We felt bad for him, so we ended up having to share our socks with him just so he had something warm to put on. And we gave him the business for about 2 weeks because of that. He never wore them again. But the guy I work with had battery powered boots. Never seen battery powered boots, but we had the battery powered socks for warmth. But after we saw his socks smoking that day, we never wore ours again. I don't remember if he stepped in water or he stepped in what. All I know is I saw smoke coming from his shoes. I don't think I've ever seen anybody go so fast to try to yank off boots. Next thing I know, the socks go flying. Sock went one way, the battery went another. Good morning, virtual farmer. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the Delta Fleece. Good to see you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in a good friend to the stream and a great friend of mine, Mr. Virtual Farmer. If you don't know who he is, please click that link and give him a follow. Leave his notification bell alone. Make sure you tell him Astro sent you. Virtual Farmer is also one of my Rough Rider brothers. How are you doing this morning, sir? Hope you're doing well. Oh, I don't know how the weather is where y'all are, but I hope y'all are a lot warmer than where we are. Oh. Yeah, a little rolling brownouts here. I'm kind of waiting for one to hit. I got battery backup hooked up to my modem, my lights, and everything. So, unfortunately, if it happens, we're going to have to do a quick departure, but I'm hoping that we'll be beyond that point. Doing good, thanks. How are we doing today? I am doing great. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, very much. And congratulations on making partner. Yes. Couldn't have happened to a better person. Yep. You really deserve it. You do. Oh, let's see. Oh, we got people going back to where we just came from. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty, oh, 73,000 light seconds. How many people? 2? Okay. Stick them in that cabin. Passengers may be wanted in multiple systems. Big surprise there. They're going to the same destination. Let's see. We will stick them in business. Let's see if we can find... Whoops, that was not what we wanted to do. Ah, you're welcome. You are welcome. I just wear 6 layers of clothes, keep the core temp up, and most extremities may stay warmer later. That's what I used to do. That's what I used to do. I used to pack on the clothes. As I got warmer and started sweating, I'd start taking them off. As it started getting colder, I'd start putting them back on again. Then again, there were also some times where it was getting close to the end of the day. I just really didn't care and stopped putting stuff on. The days I always hated were the days that, started off at something like 45 degrees, and as the day went on, it dropped. I mean, I remember there was one day I went to work, it was something like 73 degrees, didn't take a jacket. My ex-wife was off that day. And all of a sudden the temperature started dropping, and when it hit 50, I had to call her and ask her to bring me my jacket. Yeah. She was quite nasty about it too. But she came. By the time she got there, it was 42. Things have started warming up here now. The snow was almost all gone. Oh, that's good. I don't know how long it's going to take that stuff outside to melt. What's fallen now, or what I saw this morning before I fired everything up, it was a fine powder, and it was coming down heavy. I don't even think our mail ran yesterday. That's how bad it was. I know my garbage pickup is tomorrow. I don't know if I want to trudge out there to go take it out. I think our high today is supposed to be 17, and we haven't had hot water since Saturday. The cold water line that feeds our hot water heater froze. We still got cold water in the house. We just don't have hot. Yeah, oof is right. I remember my wife telling me Friday night that I'll turn the drip on. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. I thought she was turning on the hot water. She didn't. She turned on the cold. So we warmed up a bunch of water last night, and we sat there and, we cleaned ourselves off. We poured a bunch of it in the tub so we can get in and bathe. So she warmed some water up. She was going to help me wash my hair and beard last night. So, all right, we got that. That's no problem. So I'm leaning over the sink. I've got, my towel. We've got the shampoo. Got the little beard soap I use. And I'm waiting for her to start pouring it. She goes, "It's warm. You don't have to worry about anything." All right. That's fine. Yeah. She started pouring it. The only thing I could say was, "Oh shit," throw my hands to the side. And as I tried to start backing away from her from pouring the water, she stayed with me and kept pouring the water on top of my head. The water wasn't warm. It was scalding all across the top of my head. She thought I was playing with her. Then she tells me that she thought the water might have been a little too cold, and she was just going to keep dumping it. I told her, "I'm so glad you didn't keep dumping it." Yeah, I dried it off. I went and looked in the mirror. I had nothing but bright red all across the entire top of my head where she did it. And she goes, "You want me to keep pouring water?" No, I'm fine. I ended up washing my hair in the kitchen sink in ice cold water because I didn't want her pouring any more water on me after that. She might as well have taken it, put it in the microwave. That's how hot it was. When I was growing up, we had a water well 10 Fahrenheit deep in the bottom of a gully. He knew it was cold when the well froze. One of my buddies up north of Dallas, he's like that. He is like that. Their water well, their water stays about a constant 40 degrees. He said it froze. He said they were not prepared for it. They didn't tell them that it was supposed to be getting as cold as it was. So they were without water. They had to go to the store and try to get some. And he said there was almost none to be had. But yeah, my wife was laughing because she was pouring hot water over me. And when I told her it was scalding, she kind of covered up her mouth, but she was giggling the whole time. So I'm not sure if she did it on purpose or not. But she scalded the entire top of my head. But that ice cold water, when I started putting it on, it felt good. By the time I started washing my beard, man, I was shaking. I was so cold. But I wasn't going to let her pour any more water on me. And she's still standing there begging to pour water on me. It's like, no, absolutely not. And she was apologizing. And I really don't know if she was serious about her apology or not because she was giggling while she was saying it. Hey, good morning, Riven. How are you doing this morning, sir? Welcome in. Permission to come aboard? Permission granted, Delta. Welcome aboard. Oh, Delta, thank you so much for the follow. It's greatly appreciated. Welcome to the Delta Fleece. How are you doing today? Sorry, doing today. I almost said doing this morning. But I hope you're doing well, sir. And I hope you're staying warm wherever you are. I own this game. I really must try it out sometime. You know, VF, I've had this game since 86, and I never really played it. I think I played for about 30 minutes. I don't remember if other games came along, I started playing or what, but I never played it. And I did some research into what game I wanted to play when I was decided I was going to start getting really serious about, streaming, content creation. And I was watching the numbers, and it's like, well, I never really played it. So I pulled it out and started playing it. And it's like, it's a good game. It's a really good game. And its numbers were good, and that's what I picked. And I'm sorry I haven't played it long before now. I only started playing it at the, somewhere around 1st of January. So it's good. I mean, there are some times where you got long space flights like this that are just kind of, but, creating content, it's good. I can talk, got people to chat with, helps pass the time. Doing fine, and you, sir? I'm doing fine. Thank you, Delta. Thank you very much. Well, I'm off to bed, 4:30 a.m. Have a great day. All right, Amethyst Neon, you take care, sir. You have yourself a good rest, and I will talk with you later on today. Take it easy, sir, and thank you for stopping in. But yeah, after I started playing this game, I couldn't believe that, I just pushed it to the side like I do so many others. And I've got so many games I have that I have never really played. And that's embarrassing. It is. But my wife doesn't complain about me buying a $30 or $60 game because she knows I can go to a bar here in this small town where we live and I could spend that in one night. She goes, At least this, I get weeks of entertainment, months of entertainment, so it keeps her happy, keeps me out of her hair. I'm not going out drinking every night because in this small little town, you know, 6 o'clock rolls around, 7 o'clock, there's nothing to do here. We used to have a bowling alley, it closed. We had a skating rink, it closed. We had a movie theater at one point, it closed years ago. There's just nothing really to do. The streets all roll up, and unless you want to go to a bar, a restaurant, or go grocery shopping, there's nothing here. And as bad as it is, we got 2,800 residents. We've got 4 beauty parlors, 5 barber shops, 7 bars. Yeah. It's bad, and there's nothing for the kids to do. So when the kids are out of school, they either go to the rec center, they go to the pool, which last year was all closed due to COVID during the summertime. There's nothing for them to do. So when they graduate high school, they leave. They don't come back. And nobody could really blame them. You know, other than this being their hometown. There's nothing here to keep them out of trouble. There's nothing here to keep them busy. Nothing lasts here. The skating rink opened. It was open for 7 years and shut down. The bowling alley opened 4 years ago, and it closed just before the COVID crisis last year. I know other little small towns, they at least have things for their kids to do. There's nothing here. And it seems like with the nuclear power plant just outside town, you know, if the county has money, they can do something for the kids. Get some kind of business incentive for somebody to come here and open something up for them. But they don't last. They don't stay. Our movie theater used to be pretty good. We used to get first run movies. You know, we'd hit them when they were in the major theaters in all the major cities. Prices, they were reasonable. They only charged $5 a head. I think kids under 10 got in for 2, and children under 6 got in for free. And they even showed Disney cartoons during the summertime. They had 2 different showings, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Something for the kids to do. Then they stopped being able to get first run movies. Then they stopped being able to get any current movies. So they ended up shutting down. But our little town's nice. Everybody's friendly. They're all kind of cliquish a little bit till they get to know you. It actually took me being here about 4 years before people started talking to me. I guess they finally realized after 4 years that if he hasn't left by now, he must not be going anywhere. And it was surprising because when they first started talking to me, apparently they'd been watching me closely for 4 years because they knew everything about me. Just like little small towns, everybody knows everything about everyone. Well, they did. They knew where I was from, where I worked, the fact I was an only child, the fact that I had an ex-wife, the fact that I had a son who was in the military. And mind you, I never told any of those people anything. I was just amazed that they knew so much about me. I had to go talk to the police one day about something, and I walk in, the police chief is right there, and he started addressing me by name, and I didn't even know his name. Now he and I are good friends. All right, we are approaching our destination. We are dropping off these two groups of passengers. We're going to pick up somebody else and see what kind of trouble we can get into. As we know, there's always trouble somewhere just waiting for us. My mom always said trouble was my middle name. I didn't have to go causing trouble. Trouble always came looking for me, and it found me. Of course, she also used to call me her little hellion, her little demon spawn. She was joking most of the time, I think. At least I hope. Oh, I need never seen a station look like this. Never seen one of these with a swinging arm like that. Pretty cool looking. It's got the spin going for the artificial gravity. Let's make sure both of these people do actually go here. I think they do. Yep. I went to go do this thing the other day, and Auto Flight slammed me into the mail slot. Scratched my paint job. It was a brand new ship. I figured my first damage would be caused by my own hand, but no, no. The automation did it. Incoming mission critical message. Okay, well, we don't have anybody on board. Secondary contract. Well, that's pretty good, except we're not there anymore. We will consider it. Some of these passengers are so entitled, demanding I take them here, demanding I take them there. The HIP 90246, the visitor beacon. We could do that. Excuse me one moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be right back. I'm smelling something I probably shouldn't be. I'll be back momentarily. My microphone wouldn't unmute. I do apologize about that. I caught a whiff of something. Just had to go check and see what it is real quick. It's fine. My wife is up. She decided to try to fix cinnamon rolls this morning. Hey, Nuke Moley. Ah, yeah, everything's good. How are you doing this morning? Welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, my wife just decided to make cinnamon rolls this morning. And she's preheating the oven, and the oven needs to be cleaned. So it kind of got my attention, the smell. All right, let's see. We've got, wasn't there somebody else wanting to go there? Tupa Visa Beacon. Oh. Okay, we're going to take 2 people to 2 different areas. Oh, I cannot take them with the first group. They want to go too far away. Let's find somebody else. Oh, that was not bad. We'll take them as well. Doing well. Gotta hate those strange smells and noises. Well, I also have 12 dogs, so I'm kind of used to strange noises and strange smells, but this one just kind of... My wife decided to fix pies. I think it was in December. She was supposed to clean the oven. She never did. And one of the pies, she filled it too much and it kind of came over the side and hit the burner in the bottom. So whenever we preheat the oven, it smells. Highly, let's see. Okay, we're going to take this guy first before we go visit the visitor beacon, just to hurry up and get them off the ship. But yeah, we always hear strange smells. It's like dogs, you know. When you can look around and you see them laying around, you know everything's fine. When you don't see any of them and they're really, really quiet, something's wrong. They're up to something. No, that's ours. They're always up to something. The good thing about one is she rats out the other 11. She's always good about sitting here looking at us, and she'll sit here and stare us in the eyes, and then she'll go. And then she gets up and kind of takes a couple steps in that direction just to see if we're following her. So she rats out everybody. She's the grandma of the group. So kind of like children? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. That's one of the things we love about our dogs is, you know, even though we got 12, they all have different personalities. Every single one of them. We had one son that's... Yeah, my little cousin used to sell out her brother all the time. She was good about it too. She had no problem about tattling on everything he did. Sadie always used to do that to Scooter when they were puppies. When it was just the 2 of them. Oh yeah, he'd be in the bedroom chewing on something he wasn't supposed to, and she would run in there to go get us. And if we didn't respond to her, she'd walk up there to us and she'd take her paw and she'd tap us on the leg to get our attention. That's how we knew one day that he somehow was able to chew the cord of an electric blanket that was plugged in and turned on and did not electrocute himself. We don't know how he did it, but he chewed the cord completely in half. didn't electrocute himself, didn't burn the house down. And we don't know how he got the cord out because we had it wrapped in such a way that he wouldn't have been able to do that. But he did it. Oh, she always used to rat him out left and right. I don't think he could ever figure it out that it was her. I think she's still paying him back for the first day she came in the house. We had Scooter for a day by himself because we puppy sat. We sat for him and his two sisters. And his two sisters were going to different houses. And they came and picked him up the same day at the same time. The Scooter didn't even really miss them when they were gone the first day. So we fixed him a little folded up fleece blanket between our pillows, and he curled up there and he'd go to sleep. Well, the next night, a friend of ours, who these were her puppies, her brother had a Jack Russell Rat Terrier mix, and he needed to find a home for her. And we had been talking to her about, wanting a little girl dog, and then how maybe it'd be good if Scooter had somebody to play with during the day while we weren't there. So she brought her over and she gave her to us. So we weren't expecting it. And she was a little sweetheart. She'd never really been in the house before. She was an outside little puppy, and she took to it right away. And that first night, oh, he was so mad because she curled up on his little blanket that he had for one day by himself. She touched his toys, and he decided to mark his territory. Unfortunately, his territory happened to be our bed. And he peed on a spot, she peed on the spot. He peed on the spot, she peed on the spot. And we couldn't get him off the bed fast enough. And as bad as it was, my wife and I, we were laughing so hard we couldn't really fuss at him, because as soon as he got through doing his little thing, I mean, they were about 3 months old, both of them. As soon as he did his little thing, he'd walk off, and when he saw Sadie starting to pee in his spot, then he'd squat again. And finally, it was just like, okay, enough of this crap. We can't have this. This is nasty. We got to stop this. And then they got on the floor and they started doing it on the floor. And it was 11 o'clock at night, so we couldn't quite take them outside. Man, they did that the first night. I had to sleep on the floor with them and trap them in the kitchen. Wife slept on the floor. Actually, she slept on the couch. I slept on the floor with them. Next day, we pulled out the little steam cleaner. We're trying to clean the mattress, air it out. Yeah, it's kind of funny now, but that was, we were just laughing so hard we couldn't do anything about it. And then as they got older, Scooter used to aggravate Sadie so bad that she used to grab him by the neck and smack his head on the floor. Wife came home from work one day. She's sitting there at her computer after we eat dinner. And all of a sudden we hear the one bang, two bangs. And she looks at me, she goes, "What is that?" It's like, I don't even turn around. It's like, Sadie, let go of Scooter. Quit smacking his head in the floor. And all of a sudden we both turn around, and there she is. She's got him. She's got him by the neck, and she's just banging his head on the floor. He was aggravating her. Every time he was aggravating her that day, she just grab him, overpower him, and smack his head in the floor. Yeah. Sally, my wife, she'd look at me. She goes, "And how long has that been going on?" It's like, all day today. He aggravates her. She lets him know, she's boss. And he leaves her alone for a while. Yeah. She's queen of the house, other than my wife, and even my wife has to give in to her. Oh, I love dogs. I love them. Growing up, I always had dogs. My parents would always say that they were my dogs, but I'd go to school one day and I'd come back and the dogs were gone because they gave them away and they never said anything to me. So I never got a chance to say goodbye to any of them. I never had a say in them. But I love dogs. I've got two that we rescued. One was being abused by an older lady down the street, and one was dumped off by the high school. We were thinking that somebody was hoping the high school kid would take him. So I actually stole Penny from the older lady down the street because of the fact that she was a little puppy and she was getting the hell beat out of her. And we took Max in because the lady who found him, her dogs didn't like him. So we thought, okay, we'll take him in. We'll find his owners and get him back to his house. Well, nobody ever came looking for him. Nobody ever responded to the ads we posted. So we kept him. We kept him. We gave him a good home. And he never knew how to be a puppy. The others taught him how to be a puppy and how to play and have fun and run around the yard and play with sticks and toys. But the bad thing is, we know that somebody who had him took care of him because they had him fixed. They had his dew claws removed. They had his tail bobbed. He was house trained. But we think he was locked inside a cage pretty much all day. He was deathly afraid of fly swatters. Deathly afraid of fly swatters. So if we went to go kill a fly, we had to make sure that he actually was not around. Ah, little too close. Little too close. But yeah, we love them all. They're our kids. Too old to have any more kids. We talked about it at one point. We just realized that we were too old when we got married. I love rescue dogs. Oh, I know. One of the things that I always wanted to do when something happened to these guys was one thing I always wanted to do when something happened to these guys was I just wanted to open up a facility or just bring them into our house where we can go get older dogs that were never adopted and give them love for the final years of their life. And that's our plan when something happens to the majority of these. We are definitely going to go get older dogs from shelters to give them a nice, loving home. And that's our plan, and we're sticking with it. I mean, that's pretty much what we'd have been doing if we didn't have this group. And believe me, this group was an accident. We wanted to have one litter of puppies with Sadie. We were going to keep one or two and find homes for the others. Well, the vet said she was going to have 5. She had 7. We found homes for 2 of them. We actually found homes for all 5, but unfortunately, 3 of the families backed out, and we couldn't find other homes for them. When Josie was just about 1 year old, she was the last girl to have fix. She went in season and she showed no signs of it. None. And then all of a sudden she started getting fat. And I told my wife, I think she's pregnant. And we sat there, started talking about it, and we took her to the vet to confirm, and she was, even though she never showed signs of being in season. So she had 6. 5 survived. The runt didn't make it. Believe me, I was hand feeding him. I was up all hours of the night feeding him and spending time with him. But he didn't make it. Couldn't find homes for them, so he had 5 more. So at that time, we had 12. We had, let's see what this person wants. Okay. Yeah, this is the system that they want. And what ended up happening was that we ended up losing 2 exactly 1 year apart. But before we lost Sassy, she had Addison's disease, which is similar to Crohn's. We need something to keep her kind of occupied. And at this time, this lady was beating her dog, and we didn't know. We were just trying to keep her stimulated with playing frisbee with her because she loved it. So after I pretty much stole the dog, I'll admit it, I did it. But she was abusing. I mean, this lady was just kicking the crap out of this little puppy. Threatened to call the cops on me, and I told her, go ahead, I'll have you arrested for animal cruelty. Brought her home. Sassy immediately took to her, started mothering her, everything, started raising her, correcting her. We only had to fuss at Penny twice within the first 6 months. That's it. Sassy was always right there, and she was always in her face, letting her know what she did wrong and everything else. And Sassy was, in essence, mother to her. And unfortunately, she ended up coming down with kidney disease, and we lost her. And it was like the heart got ripped out of the house because with Addison's, she went down fast when she had an episode. So we always had to watch her like a hawk. And it tore us apart. I think more so me than the wife. But Penny was trying to pick everybody's spirits back up, and then we had Bo, who went blind. And then we went and got Max. Max loved Bo. He always wanted to play with Bo, but he couldn't figure out exactly how to do it because Bo couldn't see him. So he learned the thing that Bo enjoyed the most. He would bring him sticks, and they would play tug of war a little bit. So at this point, we were back to 13. And then all of a sudden, Bo went down a year after we lost Sassy. And he had kidney problems also. He went down fast. But Max ended up picking up the spirit of everybody in the house. Even though he never learned how to be a puppy, he was learning, and he made everybody laugh. I mean, he made us all laugh while he was running around wrestling with Penny. And mind you, Penny was about 3 times his size and about 4 times heavier. She could pick up a paw and just bat him across the room. But that's how they enjoy playing. Sorry. Talk about Sassy still gets to me. And he picked the spirits of the house back up. Especially when he learned to be a puppy. And we had one dog that was always standoffish, never wanted to play. Max got him playing. Yeah, I know. I feel that way too myself sometimes. But I'm also the kind of person that I cannot stand to watch an animal being abused. I don't care what type of animal, even cats. I can't stand cats, but I do not like watching a cat being abused. That's the reason why Penny, I took her. Because that woman definitely did not deserve her. And every time I pass her in a grocery store, she glares at me, but she won't open her mouth. Because she knows I got the goods on her. I'll have her arrested for it. But I always make sure she also never has another dog. But yeah, these were the first dogs I could ever actually say were mine. Nobody had any say about what happened with them. That's the reason why you see all these videos on Facebook of, animals being abused, things like that. I can't look at those. I can't. If I want to do something about it, I just can't do it. I lost an 11-year-old son 15 years ago. So kids. See, when she had an episode where her Addison's kicked in, she always went down hard and fast. So we had to rush her to the vet. And the vet knew that when we called up and we said we were bringing her in, they knew exactly what was going on with her. Yeah, those some bad videos. They always hit me hard. But they knew that when we called up, we were bringing her in, and it was serious. Because if not, we'd call them up on the phone and say, "Do you think we should bring her into you guys?" Nick Moley, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the Delta Fleece. Your follow is greatly appreciated, sir. Hey, Imfried, how you doing this morning? Welcome in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who Imfried 2010 is, he's a good friend of mine. Please click that link over, give him a follow. Leave us a notification bell on. Make sure you tell him Astro sent you over. But every time we took Sassy to the vet, she always had to stay there about a week while they fought to get her blood chemistry back balanced again. We had a special little teddy bear that we would send with her. I'd rub one side of it on my body. Wife would rub the other side so that this way here she'd always have our smells available with her so she wouldn't think she was alone. That and the fact that we would go see her every day. Oh, believe me, I know cold and tired. I know it. Power went out last night. They did the rolling blackouts on us. I was up through it. I was getting ready to go throw extra blankets upstairs on the wife and throw extra ones on the floor for all the dogs. But we'd always go visit her, and the vet would always say that she could go home if we could get her to eat. So we'd always bring a thing of food with us and hand feed her. But when we walked back out to the truck to go get the food to see if we could get her to eat, he said that the only time she ever made noise is when it was time that she was feeling good and she can go home, because she was barking and carrying on. He goes, any other time she sat in her little kennel, just quiet, watching everybody. So we still have her little teddy bear. Yep. That's our memory of her little teddy bear. But yeah, Infried, it's still, when I got up to check what that smell was, I looked out the window and it is still snowing. So I don't know when this stuff's supposed to end. According to radar, it looked like it was over, but that's not the case. We hit -7. I fell asleep lurking. Didn't even see you were live. Oh, that's fine, man. That's fine. It's all understandable with everything that's going on. You know, I've got stuff I was supposed to be doing this whole time, but because this cold front that was coming through and the rolling blackouts and the freezing temperatures and the lack of hot water and the snow, I haven't done half of them. I forgot about them. Yeah. And you know the funny thing? The funny thing, Luke, is the fact that we know she comes to visit. When we used to stand there and wash dishes, she would sit at our feet, and if we didn't acknowledge her, she would kind of bump up against our leg. But we could be standing there washing dishes with no other dog in the kitchen with us, and we feel the bumping on our leg. And we look down and there's nobody there. There's nobody in the dining room. So we know she comes to visit us. And Penny always used to lay down in the middle of the floor for her, because she would clean her ears, clean her eyes. And if she didn't behave, Sassy would always pop her on top of the head with her paw. She lays down in the middle of the floor, exactly where she always used to, for Sassy to take care of her. So we know. Well, and you are old, so it doesn't take much for you to forget. Imfried, I haven't forgotten that your wife is selling you out, that all I have to do is ask her for your address and she'll give it to me. I haven't forgotten that. And I won't forget that. It's on a post-it note right there. Oh yeah, we love it. We love it. And we think she comes by to visit sometimes in the middle of the night. Okay, now if I knew that this thing was so far away, I would not have accepted this mission. I really wouldn't have. I'd have told this guy to walk. We know she comes to visit in the middle of the night because Lady, her sister, has this high-pitched, shrill bark that can wake the dead. Just about 3 a.m. every morning, she barks 3 or 4 times, and then all of a sudden she just quits. So we think she sees her, or the spirit of somebody who passed away in this house, because she wakes us up, all of us, out of a dead sleep. I'm not dead. I'm tired, not dead. So yeah, I'm going to start with Yellow Jugs. Okay, go ahead, Infree. Go ahead. Yeah, we've got a lady who walks past 2 of the windows in our foyer, who never walks past a 3rd one. She's wearing a 1900s period dress with a black bow in her hair, puffy sleeves midway, puffles on them. Her dress is white with black polka dots, and it's one of those with the kind of puffed out butt like with a big bow back there. Yeah. She walks past two of the windows and she never walks past the third one. Check the mission details when looking for mission. Distances can be found there. Death Angel, this is a passenger, and they said they wanted to go, but I did not see the destination. I mean, I didn't see how far it was. It just gave me a beacon. I might have overlooked it. I'll check on it though the next ones I go to pick up, just to make sure I don't pick up something like this again. But thank you. But the first time I saw that woman, she walked past the first two windows, and I thought maybe I just blinked or something and missed her walking past the third one. You know, it was about 70 degrees outside. So I go running outside asking her if she needed some help, and there was nobody there. Never seen her in the house. I've only seen her walk past those two windows on the porch. But every now and then the dogs also do weird things in the house. There's one bedroom that they will not go into. And of course, that's the one that's going to be the studio when I get it complete. Lucky me. Makes sense. My farmhouse I grew up in had spirits. Yeah. I'll be sure to check the next group of missions I pick up for passengers just to make sure. Maybe I overlooked it. I don't think I did, but I easily could have. As Imfried says, I'm getting old. My vision's slipping. I mean, I've always been one that never really believed in spirits. I believe that my animals always came back to visit, but never really believed in them. That was until my grandpa passed away, right after I got out of the Navy. When he could never sleep at night, he would go sit on one of the couches in the living room. And when he'd sit on it, there was a tear in it, and it was solid leather, so you hear the air kind of poof out. Well, about 3 days after he passed away, I heard a click like the living room light got turned on, and then all of a sudden I heard the poof of air. So I, being cautious, grabbed my pistol and carefully went into the living room because my grandparents didn't exactly live in the best area of town. So I went to go make sure there was nobody in the house. So I creeped up in there and turned the light on. Not a soul. Not a soul. The fifth night I was staying with her, she got sick and she couldn't call my name, and I felt a cold hand in the center of my back that woke me up. I started believing at that point. Yeah. My grandma thought I was, how did she put it? She thought I was imagining things, but I had a red imprint of a hand right in the center of my back. Yeah. But my old dog Roscoe, he passed away in 2007. I have some awesome friends. Well, I'm afraid you're a good guy. You're awesome yourself, man. Check DMs. Oh God. See, congratulations, Imfrey. And 2007, my old dog, he passed away. I lost my grandma back in Baton Rouge in 2002, right after I moved up here to Kansas. She had never been up here. My dog always used to sit down, and when my grandma would pat him on top of the head, she was a little heavy handed, so he'd always close his eyes and, kind of duck his head a little bit. And one day he was just sitting down, looking down the hallway, and all of a sudden he just closed his eyes and he started doing that like he always used to do for her. So it made me wonder if she came to visit him. She loved that dog. He was her protection. I I raised him and I trained him to always be there to protect her. Kind of explains why I said that. Yeah. Yes, sir, it does. Hip 90246. I think I've been here before. I don't think I've examined all the planets, though. Oops. Nope. Okay, why did that come up? I didn't lock it. Ooh. Raikou Spirit, thank you very much for the raid. How are you doing this morning, ma'am? I hope you are doing well. Let me get this freed up here. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in. How is everybody doing today? And how are you doing today, ma'am? Thank you for the follow, Shaken Insider and Ben Lawson. I know I butchered your name. I apologize. And good morning, everybody. Raikou, how was your... Thank you very much for the follow, Wraithwind. Raikou, how was your stream this morning, ma'am? I know I just did something very bad I probably shouldn't have done, but oh yeah, we got some passenger missions going on. This one was a long one. I regret taking it. Okay. What the? Oh, of course, it's on the backside of the world. That's okay. We'll take off, go back in space, and get it properly. Ah, you love the alert music? I finally found a bunch of alerts that I like. Something that kind of fits. A little upbeat. Stream was good. Started off with a scary game, and when I was on the verge of a heart attack. So, what scary game were you playing? I'm almost afraid to ask. I grew up on horror movies, but for some reason, I can't play scary games that well. I tried playing Phasmophobia, and it just gets to me just a little too much. Planetary approach can be tricky. Just ask Raikou Spirit about landing. I don't have any issues with the landing part most of the time, other than finding some place to really land. Okay. I don't really want to enter orbital flight yet. Let's see. Okay. Well, let me guess. It's still on the backside of the planet. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Dead of Midnight was released back in November. Super good, scary. Scary. I might have to check that one out. But yeah, I was raised on horror movies. I saw The Birds when I was 6 or 7. I always hated birds after that. I was scared the crap out of me. Always did. Always. Raikou's the hugger of planets. I'll pay 1,000,000,000 credits just for planetary land and flight assist. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that way right now, too. Okay, we are going to. We're just going to take off from this world and we're going to come right back to it. Okay, we're going to slow down quite a bit. There we go. Visitor beacon. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I am. Am I locked on the. Yeah, that's the problem. I was locked on the planet. Okay. Yep, that was definitely my issue. That's bad. I'll blame the cold. Yeah, that's it. I'll blame the cold. I know if you ask somebody else about Channel Imfreed, he'll probably blame it on old age. Okay, so let's go from cold to old age. How does that sound? I think that sounds pretty good. I find that if I come in with my canopy to the planet, I can see where I'm going a bit better. Yeah. Yeah. I actually thought I was locked on the beacon. I didn't realize I wasn't. Now we're flying past it. Wasn't really ready to drop out just yet, but now I definitely am. I sure don't want to fly into the planet, but it looks like I'm getting closer and closer to it. And now I got the stars to make it look like I'm flying in space. It kind of messes me up a little bit. Like right now, I'd come in upside down to get my destination in eyesight. Most of the time, I do that. This time, I didn't for some reason. All right, now we're going to take her back home. My controller's acting funny today. Oh, let's see. My next system is there. We unlock it, and here we go. I'm still trying to get used to it. It's bad. After almost 60 days, I should be used to the controls, but I'm still not. I'm hitting the wrong buttons at the wrong time. Now, other than a couple little SRV malfunctions on missions where I got blown up, and one combat experience that was very bad, oh yes, I did. I had one very bad combat experience. I learned real quick, never try combat in the starter ship. Reuse it for controlling an Xbox controller. That's what I'm using currently. Just got to make sure it's wired because I had problems with tried to use a wireless one time, but unfortunately I ran out of batteries when I was in the middle of frameshift drive and had to figure out the commands real quick on the keyboard to stop. I don't have that great of a fuel scoop here either. I was under the impression that the wireless versions can also be used as wired. Yes. Yes. This is the one from my Xbox One. My Xbox One kind of burned up. But yes, I do have it plugged in. So I do have it wired now. Are they still selling that as an extra replacement kind of deal? I did have it for that, but the fact is I had a longer cable that I could use than the one that I had for the actual charging that came with the Xbox One. And that's what I'm sitting here because my computer is about, 3.5 feet away. You can keep buying Super Cruise the same button, but also pressing a shoulder button. That's what I did because I solo, which is a planet base, and my destination is sometimes on the other side of the planet. This one, I really don't know what I did differently other than the fact that I didn't target it and you know, let it start orbiting itself. I just targeted the world and I thought I had locked into my destination. I've done that a couple times, but never that bad on a mission like this. Got to watch my fuel levels here. I tried to play it once by keyboard. That that was not too good. Didn't have enough idea of what I was doing at the time for the keyboard commands. Perfect Fairness, the default are hot garbage. I think that was also one of the reasons why when I first started playing it and trying it out that I put it to the side. And I shouldn't have. I should never really have put this game to the side. I mean, it's good. I'm really enjoying it. I wait for the cooldown to kick in, and we'll see if we can get the heck out of here. Will we make it? Will he make it? Will he blow up? I always hate doing that close to the sun. I always think something bad's going to happen. Exactly. I even held off buying the game for a year because I didn't know if I could fly without HOTAS. I've got Star Citizen and I have no idea what I'm doing in that game. I do. The only thing I did was walk around the station. I got to my spaceship. I flew out in space, and when I tried to land, sitting here trying to look at the the keyboard commands and fly it, and I ran into just about everything trying to get it down. I was looking for a good game to play in January, and I realized I had this and had to check it out because I hadn't really played it, so I had to give it a shot to see. Played it a little bit, fell in love with it. I realized exactly how good of a game it really was. The fact that I was a fool for pushing it to the side and never picking it back up again. But I've also been one that I've always liked the space games. Liked, um, what was the first one I played? Earth and Beyond, I think it was, which was kind of cheesy. I mean, when comparing it to Elite Dangerous, it was cheesy. When they shut those servers down, I moved over to Eve Online. Got heavy into the PvP aspect of it after doing a little bit of everything. Now, after several years of that, tired of it, namely 7 years. And I tried this space game, that space game, never found anything that really fit the niche, you know, fit like I really belonged or I really liked it. And I got this when it first came out. I mean, when it first came out. And I played it for about 30 minutes and pushed it to the side. And I've said before, I don't know if it's because other games came out or it was just trying to fly it by keyboard just didn't do very well. But I never should have done that. I never should have. But I've been looking back over my own Steam list and realized I've got so many games I've never played before that I bought when they had their massive sales. And I've definitely got to stop that. I like Eve Online. How many hours played so far? I have. Let me see if I can pull it up. Where is my? Yeah, you're gonna see my nightmare. 143 hours total so far. See, I like Eve Online, especially the PvP, because the adrenaline kicked in, your hands were sweating. It's like you were actually there. And I'm not sure why that Chroma message keeps popping up. I'm going to have to figure out what's up with that because I have never seen it come up so many times before. But I can never find anything that I felt like I belonged in as far as space wise. I mean, every time something new came out, I got it to try it. Some games were good, they lasted a couple hours. Some games lasted, months, but I grew tired of them real quick. There wasn't that much to do in them. Elite Dangerous, just like Eve, is you could be whatever you want to be. If you want a PvP, you got that. If you want to be a cargo hauler, a mission runner, you got that. If you want to be a trader, you got that. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I have 12 and a quarter. And as long as you enjoy the game, that's all that matters. As long as you have fun playing it. You were the one who said you enjoyed, you wanted to play it, so I got it for you. I mean, the whole purpose of any game is to play it and have fun. The whole purpose of streaming is to have fun, make friends, build a community. You know, just have a hi ho time with it. But there are too many people out there who take all of this just a little bit too serious. I mean, we got to have fun. We got to laugh. We got to laugh at ourselves when we do crazy things, such as flying into a planet, getting too close to a sun, being chased by the drones on a planet, running into a rock and blowing up. I was watching somebody the other day. He couldn't figure out why his cargo hatch kept malfunctioning and jettisoning cargo. I told him he was getting too close to the sun when he was trying to refuel. And as I've experienced here after playing it, even within the first week, the Elite Dangerous community is amazing that they come in with all the tips they could give and helpful advice. And there's only one other community that I've seen that is like that, especially here on Twitch. That's the Farm Sim community, where people stop what they're doing to answer your questions. They'll help you out. The more complicated a game is, it seems like the more helpful that everybody is. And that's what makes it all seem more welcoming. Just like all this, we can make good friends out of this. Even though most of us will never meet face to face, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling knowing that you help somebody do something, even if it is just a game. And believe me, that's how most people look at it. I mean, the whole purpose of all this is just to have fun. I make y'all laugh. I've done what I set out to do. You need to work with those numbers and breed. Those are well, Ben, he just got the game a few days ago. And because he works night, he doesn't have much time during the day to really be able to play. But I mean, my whole key thing is I like trying to make people laugh, whether it be here in my stream or somebody else's stream. That's what I like to do. And most of the time, in other people who stream Elite Dangerous, just as Raikou Spirit, I like to sit back and watch and lurk because I can learn things from them. I watch how they do things. And Raikou, she's an amazing young lady. She really is. And I always enjoy lurking in her streams. She's always entertaining. She's always got a smile on her face. She's always got a kind word. That's the reason why I keep coming back to watch her. Got it from November and already winded up 608. Might have a slight problem. Look, I've got a good friend of mine who plays Farm Sim 19. He streams it. He's got almost 5,000 hours in the game. So, if anybody's got a problem, and I got to make sure he's not here, even though he's probably listening in. But then again, he's also got, how many terabytes of mods did he say? Something like 2.4, I think, yesterday. But we all find games we love and we sit there and we just play them for hours and hours. The time flies by and all of a sudden you look at that counter about how many hours you've been playing. It's like, wow. Nightmare, how are you doing? Welcome in. Commander Leela, I'm right around 7,000 hours, but it's been years for me. Exactly. You find a game you like, you play it, you don't even pay attention to the time. And then all of a sudden one day you just decide to look at it, it's like, wow. But the key thing is that, for those 7,000 hours, you've had fun. Because if you weren't having fun, you wouldn't have that much time invested into it. Unfortunately, I think that's the problem that some game developers have is they don't realize that the more fun we have in a game, the more we're going to play it. But I do know one thing they need to realize is that whenever you install and start to play a new game, please set the volume controls lower. When we start a brand new game, we don't need to have our eardrums blown out because you got the volume set at max. I can't tell you the number of times I've started a new game up somewhere and had to rip off my headphones because the music was so loud. My ears were ringing. But games that are fun that are just keep us coming back. And as long as we continue to play, they'll continue to last. And the servers will always stay up. And they'll continue to make DLCs like Odyssey that's coming out soon. I feel you on that volume problem. I mean, which one was it? It was one of the Call of Duties. I forget if it was. I don't think it was Cold War. I think it was the other one. There was a loud crash right at the first of the game. It's like, really? So I've gotten to where now, whenever I start a new game, I don't even put the headphones on. I just hold them in my hand away from my head, so I know how loud it's going to be. Or at least give us the option to set the volume before you start the opening trailer. There's no need to deafen your audience. We've already bought the game. You've got our attention enough to where we paid our money for it. You don't have to blow our eardrums out for it. No, but I mean, this is our escape. All of it. Get away from that swinging arm there. But in games that seem like work, there have been times where I've been playing games where I've had fun, and then all of a sudden it just seems like it's a job. And those weren't simulation games. There have definitely been times that Elite has felt like work. Yeah. Income was not always in the place it is now. I mean, I played games where there was so much going on that it actually felt like a second job. And it wasn't the community I was in, it was just the game itself just it no longer became fun. Oh, only 168 credit damage. That's not bad. But this game is a job. The grind is real, but it's fun. It is fun. That's the reason why we keep coming back. Especially since my focus in the game is PvP, which is one of the few professions in game where you need a steady income just Exactly. Exactly. I haven't ground up the Federation ranks that much, so I can't say much on that one. Let's see, what am I with the Federation? Uh, Allied 100% and 69% of the way through Chief Petty Officer. Have to admit though, I gained ranks with the Federation a lot faster than I did in the U.S. Navy. Believe me, service members, I did not mean anything by that. Take the exams, wait the time. If you get promoted, they got the slot for it, then you get it. If not, you get bypassed. Yeah, I remember playing games like EVE Online where I played because of all the viewers. The community is great, but the game itself, I like a chore. That's the reason why I actually stopped playing at Nightmare. It's the reason why. You know, I played it for 7 years. For 5.5 of those years, I was a mercenary. I started out as a pirate and went to mercenary. And after a while, it did. Just became a chore because we had to use alt accounts to mine, to make extra ships and make the dreadnoughts and the carriers and the Titans. It just became a second job. You logged in, you knew what you had to do, you sat there and for hours you mined, and it's not fun. It's just mind numbing. My best video game from real. Yeah, it's good. It really is. It makes you feel like you're part of it. You're kind of immersed into it. Definitely some annoying, obvious fixes I could do with it. But every game has its own little quirks or little things that need to be fixed a little bit. Kind of tweak some. They all have that. But the thing is, though, is that, you know, Frontier does listen a little bit. They're more receptive to ideas and changes than some of the other AAA companies. Because they've got their mindset on this is the way they want their game to go, and they pretty much don't care what anybody has to say. Just look at all the alpha tests and beta tests they do on some of these AAA titles that they release that they make no changes on. So when you go from closed beta to open beta, those problems are still there, but when the game gets released, they never fixed a single thing. They're still all there. I'm 39 and a tree painter. I feel like 5 months ago and I'm playing. That's pretty much about the way I'm getting. I play this and I play one other game a little bit on weekends with friends. Play a little bit of Warzone. That's pretty much about it. That's all I do anymore. All my other games, I pretty much uninstalled them. Well, the Army doesn't give you ranks from shipping mail-in reports. Yeah, I know. I was a radar operator in the Navy from 86 to 90, an operations specialist. I know. My problem was when I was extremely tired and sitting there watching that green sweep on that screen. Yeah, it mesmerized you and put you to sleep. I always had to be careful about that. My problem is I always had the captain looking over my left shoulder, so I couldn't exactly start snoring. For some people, having a game that feels like a job is good. Like people can't do a job because, yeah, for them it feels different. But for those of us who just want to play it for fun, that after a while, the fun part disappears and it just seems like a job. It's taxing. It really is. Eve got that way. Mining for all the new ships to make the components necessary for it. You know, 10 hours a day, I'm sitting there in this mining vessel on weekends mining. Okay, as part of the Mercenary Coalition, we got paid a little bit for that, and our ships were provided for free for the combat. But that just really got boring. I wanted to go out and blow people up. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, I guess a lot of people call me a griefer, and according to the hate mail I was receiving from them, I was. But the thing is, I was being paid to blow them up. Most of them. Occasionally, we had to go pick on some freighter pilots who were hauling everything that they had from station to station in nullsec, and we just kind of did it for the fun of it because they didn't want to pay our ransom. Okay, there were more than a few. I'll admit that part. I'm guilty. Frontier Dev's been famously tone deaf to the player base up until a year ago. Just sit there. Receptive. Yeah. Nightmare, thank you very much for the follow. It's greatly appreciated. Welcome to the Delta Fleece. But you know, the thing is, though, is that they change after time. Because if they realize that, okay, we got the game out there, you know, it's what, 4 years old, going on 5 years old. There are still a lot of people playing it. There's still a lot of money that can be made making it and making the DLCs. Maybe we should listen to the player base. It's time. But please don't do like WoW did of dumbing everything down for all the new players. You know, part of the game is it's supposed to be a challenge. And we like it to be a challenge. That's the reason why we keep coming back. You know, I like you. I mean, this is a compliment, but you sound like Grandpa who is very wise and all those great stories to tell. Oh, please do not let Imfried. Never mind, he's already made a comment about it. Yeah, just call him Grandpa. Yeah, but see, the thing is, though, if they start listening now, that they can still make changes. They can still satisfy their player base. But like I said, don't do like WoW and dumb everything down. You know, the whole purpose of the game is to be a challenge. You dumb it down, the people who've played for a while and want to create these new characters, things are too easy. You know, a couple of years ago, I went back to WoW because one of my friends talked me into it. And I really didn't want to go back, but I went back for him. And we started playing new characters. And everything was just so easy. It was too easy. It was nothing like it was the first time. Just call him Grandpa. Watch it, Imfried. At least you didn't call me. Let's see. I've been called Grandpa Santa ZZ Top. I had somebody one day call me the old biker. I couldn't help it if my beard was all the way down my chest. Mining is fun, but it's the main part of the game. Just mining to make. Yeah, there's always a few little boring parts. There's always a few little boring parts. But the thing is, though, you can mine for a while and then go do something else. Hey, good morning, Blazing Butterfly. How are you this morning, ma'am? Eve, that's what I did. I mined for a while, built stuff, sold it, sold the ore. Got tired of it, started practicing in PvP. Did some mission running for a while. Next thing I know, it's like I'm in a corporation under attack by mercenary group, and 6 months later, you know, I joined that mercenary group. I just enjoyed part of it, but I enjoyed all aspects of the game until some of them started becoming just a little bit too tedious. The mining, continuously mining. We had mining operations for 1 month. No contracts to blow people up, just 1 month. And that's all they wanted us to do was mine. And after about the first week, I was going crazy. But up until the Genesis and the September update, they never really listened to Tillate. Some game developers don't do that. Some don't. But then they start realizing that they need to listen if they wish to continue to survive. They need to. They want to get people back interested in their game, especially when they got a DLC coming out soon that they can't talk about. But they want to. They need to. Dragpocalypse. I do not know exactly what you mean by the Dragpocalypse. I haven't experienced the Turgoids yet. Not yet, but I have a feeling I will be soon. You know, but like I said, game developers, they have to listen if they want to survive. If they want their product to continue to survive and to make them money and keep the player base happy, they need to. Because if not, before you know it, they'll be shutting the servers down. And that's not something that any of us want. That's not what we want. You know, they want us to keep having fun. They want us to keep investing in their product. And I mean, look at the little microtransactions. They're cosmetic. There's nothing major changes to the game. So they have very little coming in the way of that. Or they have just a little bit though. But you know, those are just cosmetic things. DLC coming out is big for them. Kind of like Horizons was when they first released it. It's big. They want it to be perfect. They want it to be good. They want us to be interested in it and experience it. Father Time, Grandpa Time, Moses, yeah. Imfried, bite me. Really? Bite me, dude. Bite me. You know, I had a little girl one time follow me around in Walmart because she thought I was Santa Claus. I was wearing cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. She was calling me Santa. She kept walking away from her mom, and I had to keep taking her hand and walking her back to her mom. The mom was attentive to her, but the little girl kept sneaking off. Come find me. She came all the way across the store at one point. Oh. Wake up feeling your heart beat in your head. You know, it's going to be a long day. That was me about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when I had the migraine. That's all I felt. That's all I heard. In fact, that's all I heard for 2 days. It's maybe 2 years ago, a proposed change to the drag musicians experiment. Basically. Oh. The issue was obviously OP to people like yeah, 0 PvP. Okay, now that's a problem. That is a big problem. That is a major problem if people who really weren't into PvP could see the problems with it. But you know, you do something like that as a they kind of need a test server like that before they put it on the live servers so that this way here it can be tested to see whether or not it's something they really wanted to implement. That way there they can make the changes all that they wanted to, let people continue to experiment with it and see if it worked or not. Or they finally just said that idea just isn't going to fly. I know, but it gave me a chance to call him old. Nightmare, he always calls me old. It's okay. I'm used to it. I know I'm old. I'm going to be 54 in August. It's hard to believe I'm so old. And believe me, if I could go back, I'd love to be 18 again. I really would. Don't think my wife would like that, but I know I would. Exactly. It's always been a running joke that don't play their own game. Break PvP. It does. Yeah. But see, that's what makes a game developer the best? If they play their game. That was one of the things about EVE Online. EVE had their test server, but they had their main server. But their developers, they wanted them to play the game. Now they couldn't tell anybody who they were. They couldn't relay that information out. A couple times they actually did, and some groups got a little bit of an advantage over it, but they quickly squashed that idea, and CCP was quick to remove the items they were given that shouldn't have been. But they want the people to play the games. They want their developers to, because they want them to get a feel of it. They want them to understand how the player base is and feels. And, you know, they all want that, or at least that's what they should want. The best developer is somebody who plays his own game. This way here, you could take into account seriously the changes. Well, okay, I do a lot of PvP. I don't think that's going to work quite the way we want it to. So they could sit back and think about the idea from a player's point of view. But if they don't play it, it's an idea they're just throwing out there, and it's nothing to back it up with. I mean, it would also be different if they had a test server to where they could say, we want you to come out over here and test this and give us your feedback, because we want to listen. We want to know your opinions. We want to know how you feel. Do you like this change? Do you not like this change? And if they try it and it isn't a good change, maybe they could try to tweak it to satisfy people. But then again, maybe the change is bad. No matter what they do to it, they can't do anything to fix it. You know, CCP did that a few times. They released something that was not a good change, and the players were against it. But then again, there were a couple times where they didn't listen to the player base and they released it too, and they had to kind of roll it back some. I mean, kind of like the time that they messed up on an update and, you know, deleted everybody's boot INI file. That one was a major headache for them, because they were in a hurry to get an update out, and they failed to notice that that command was in there and shouldn't have been. And everybody who had Windows XP at the time, yeah, lost control of their computers. And they were telling people, if you had to take your computer to go get it repaired, they would pay the bill. You had to send them the bill. Zero's very knowledgeable across a lot of interests. Has a great person to get to know. You can't go wrong. Been hanging out. Yeah, Freed, we've known each other for a while. We have known each other for a while. You came in when the beard was long. Yeah. And you watched it go gray. Even though it was mostly gray, you watched it finish off going gray. I think that's a good gauge of passion in any profession. I wouldn't eat at a restaurant if the chef didn't like the food. Bingo. If the chef didn't like his own food, why would you want to eat there? You know, I got a good friend of mine. He was a cook down in Louisiana. He didn't like the food at the restaurant he worked at. He would never eat there. And he kept telling me to come on in and eat it. It's like, man, if you don't like your own food, the restaurant you work at, why would I want to come eat there to eat? That's true. Why would I? I can come to your house and eat. We would blame Jimmy for that. Infreed, if Jimmy gets gray hair, believe me, it's from me. Okay. Because, I gave my mom all her silver hair. Yeah. But it's okay because, she blamed me for all her silver hair. As she said, I always used to make her age before her time. That was her key thing. She always liked to blame me for that. She liked to blame me for a lot of things. All up until that lady one day asked her, what her hair color was because she wanted to dye her hair that shade. My mom freaked out. Her hair was all natural. It was blonde and it had those little silver streaks in it, and they were just so perfect. In the perfect fairness on the story, your friend not liking the food he was cooking doesn't mean he's bad. No, he's not a bad cook. He just did not like the food at the restaurant. He just didn't like it. Oh, he was an amazing cook. Believe me, he was an amazing cook. He did all the cooking at home. His wife did not pick up anything in the kitchen because he did it all. And if he was having to work one night, he made sure that she had something good to eat. I mean, you walked in their house when he was cooking something, your mouth just started watering because you could taste it before it was sitting right in front of you. And every time he wanted to experiment with a new meal, a new dish, he'd invite his friends over because he wanted everybody's opinion. He wanted to know how we all felt because he knew that we all had different tastes in food. So he'd invite us all over to try it. I never said anything bad about it, any of his food. I loved it all. It was delicious. I mean, my grandma made sure I could cook because she was afraid I was going to be single my entire life. So, I mean, there was a few things I wish she had taught me how to cook, such as, her homemade marinara sauce. But she never did that. And believe me, that's one recipe of hers I wish I really had. Because she never wrote anything down. She never did. She didn't believe in it. Her thing was, if you could not remember how to cook her meals, you didn't deserve to cook her meals. That was her belief. Basically, why I can't be a cook. One, I can't cook. Two, if I could cook, I hate too many ingredients to actually taste it myself. I was talking the other day about a crockpot lasagna. I take all my ingredients and I line them up on the counter just so they're right there at hand. So I could just reach over and grab them one by one. I grab this one, I put it in. As soon as I'm done with it, I put it to the side. So over here, it's ready to go. Over here, I've already used it and don't need it again. And my wife's just amazed that I could sit there and I could do this because I've got everything already planned out, arranged out. And I'm same like that when I'm cooking jambalaya or something else, something from down home. I've always done that. It's always right up over here, ready to go. I don't have to look. I just have to reach over, grab it, quick check, make sure I grab the right one, put it in, throw it to the side because I'm done with it. I don't need it anymore. I learned at a young age how to cook, cooked for years in restaurants also. And see, that's one thing I don't think I could ever do. I don't think I could ever cook in a restaurant. I never worked fast food. I never had to work with somebody else's food. I think that's one of the things that got me was the fact that I'd be preparing somebody else's food. My own, excuse me, my own was one thing. Somebody else's, not meaning my wife or my kids, that was something a little different. That was something a little different to me. And my own food, I got no problem with. Like my food, I like my food spicy. I like it to where it enhances the flavor of the food, just like it's supposed to. My wife, being from Kansas, she likes some spice in her food, but not too much. So I have to fix it a certain way for her, separate hers out, and then I have to refix mine the way I want it. So add the spices back in. So I have to be careful about remembering how much I put in so I can put the right amount back in so I can get it my way. I got married and found out my ex-wife liked to eat at places I could not afford, so I learned how to cook instead. Oh. Now, I have no problems cooking. My wife, on the other hand, she can't cook for crap. I want to know how you can put a chicken breast in an oven for 20 minutes to cook, forget about it, and go back in there 40 minutes later and say, oh, it's done, and it's black. It's blackened. It's burnt. I thought my mom was bad at taking 45 minutes to cook minute rice. My wife boiled eggs one time. She forgot they were on the stove. She boiled all the water out of the pan. The eggs had scorch marks on them from the bottom of the pan, and she wanted to know if they were okay to still eat. Well, okay, I could see if, some kind of emergency or something came up that you weren't expecting, but to just put it in the oven in there, set the timer. Actually, in her case, she doesn't set the timer. Go back in the den to go talk to her friends on Facebook and forget about it. Me, I sit there when I'm cooking. I got the timer right there. I've got the main course in the oven. While the main course is in the oven, I've got everything else timed to where it's going to be ready at the exact same time that the chicken is. So the full meal's ready to go. Nothing is sitting on the counter and getting cold, waiting for something else to get done. I like something I burn a chicken breast. I'm back another time. Have to check on something else. All right, Nightmare, you take it easy. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you very much for the follow. You have yourself a good day, sir. I stay right in the kitchen with my food. I mean, for the most part, I do. If I've got everything in the oven and I've got the timer set, I will come in here into the living room to my computer, but I can guarantee you I've got a timer sitting right here letting me know. And most of the time it's set a few minutes early so I can get back in the kitchen just before it's all done. But I do. I've got my meals are set, and when I cook them, I've got the vegetables, I've got croissant rolls, I've got, the main course, I've got everything. It's all set to be ready at the same time. And if it isn't, it's just a few seconds off. That's it. Just a few seconds. My wife fixes something, man. The main course is sitting there getting cold while we're waiting for everything else. She made breakfast the other day. The hash browns got cold and greasy. The eggs were just cold. I hate cold eggs. I hate greasy hash browns. Really greasy hash browns. I know hash browns are supposed to be greasy, but when you eat them up off the plate and there's a big puddle of grease right there, okay, there's a problem. The sausage was fine. I could eat sausage cold because we were waiting for the biscuits because she put the biscuits in late. She didn't time them all properly. Baking sometimes I don't sit and watch it. And you see, I bake too. I sit there and watch it all. Unless I've got the timer with me, I sit there and watch it all. And most of the time, if I'm baking cookies or something, I've got 2 cookie sheets in the oven. I've got 2 more sitting on the stove top, ready to go. So when the ones that are cooking come out, I put them on the counter. I grab the other 2, I throw them in and restart the timer. I don't hesitate. I keep everything going like a machine because that's the way I want it to go. But I always kind of plan things out like that. That's me. You know, kind of like project upstairs working on the studio. I've got it planned out how I want to do it. And when problems arise, I have to make changes. I'll do those on the fly, but I want the majority of the plan to continue to go the way I want it because I think it out. I don't rush at the last minute to say, okay, well, this. No. I like supper sometimes. My wife decides to cook. She waits to the last minute to decide what she's going to throw together. She just takes something out, says that's what we're going to have. But then she decides at the last minute how she wants to fix it. And when I cook, supper time is always the same time. When she cooks, we could eat anywhere at 4:45 in the afternoon to 6 o'clock. Cakes, I usually know they took, so I don't sit and watch them. Cookies, I do. Yeah. But like I said, I always walk off. I've got my timer with me. I know when it's time to go back in there and check on it. And there are times I do walk back in there at other times just to make sure that, you know, things are rising, the cookies are okay, they're not burning. You know, just little things along that line. Walk in there to sample some of the raw cookie dough. Yeah, I don't use store bought things for cookies or cakes. I make it myself. And I'm always in there trying them. I taste it before I cook it. The reason why is if it don't taste right, I'm not going to make it. I'm not. I've always been notorious about that because that was my grandma's thing about cooking is always taste your food. When you got it mixed, you taste it. If it doesn't taste right, find what you did wrong and fix it. If you don't think you can fix it, toss it, do it again. Because you left something out. And yeah, there have been times where I've messed up and I've left ingredients out by accident. I mean, I made, what was it? I made cookies one time and accidentally left out the flour. Another time I made a cake and accidentally forgot the eggs. Still not sure exactly how I did that one, but yeah, I left the eggs out. I I don't know how I did that one either. All I know is I got done. I went to go taste them after the first batch had cooked, and I took a bite of it and I had to spit it out because something was just seriously wrong. Yeah, yeah. And I also learned one thing. When you wife to the store for something, and you ask her for something specific, don't let her come back with generic. Sent her to the store one day for chocolate chips. She came back with some kind of generic chocolate chip that tasted like it tastes like dog mess. It was horrible. It was bad. You had a senior moment? Yeah, because I was lazy and didn't want to go to the store myself, so I sent her. Oops, that is not what I wanted to do. And she got mad. She actually got mad. Okay, this is for tourists. Let's see. What was this other group? One port, 3 people, economy. Okay. I'll put those 3 people first class. Sounds good. Your 4 tourists will. I'll drop an economy. And see, that's one thing I don't get. If you got 16 cabins in economy, why can't you, take 2 or 3 other missions to kind of help fill up those extra bunks that are empty? All right, let's see if somebody else is going that same direction for business. I can fill up the business suite. Okay, nobody else go in our direction. Okay, Braunport, Aldrin Market. Okay, that's fine. All aboard. But yeah, my grandma was so afraid I was going to be single my entire life. She wanted to make sure I could feed myself so I wouldn't be eating at McDonald's and Popeye's chicken all day, every day. Little did she know it wouldn't have been McDonald's and Popeyes. Chick-fil-A, on the other hand, probably. Oh, yeah. We're going. You're not changing your destination. Okay, come on. You get the passengers on board, you hurry up and get them to their destination system, you kick them off, they can't tell you that, hey, I want to go here instead. Yeah, well, I barely made it outside the station before she decided she wanted to go somewhere. But I've got other passengers to think about. I want good satisfaction ratings from them. Yeah, here we go. Okay, Aldrin Market is going to be first. My grandma made sure I could cook, and not just Cajun dishes. I can cook a little bit of Italian. I figured that one out on my own. Mexican. I could do. I always wanted to cook French. I don't know why, but I always wanted to cook French. I think just to throw something else into the mix. And my kitchen is absolutely spotless. Kind of wondering though sometimes how I can fix a big dinner and use half the pots and pans that my wife does for one small thing. Homemade chicken Alfredo? Yep, I do that too. If I've got the time, I can make the noodles myself. If I can't and I'm in a rush, I use packaged. I prefer not to. Fresh homemade always tastes better. It always does. It's time consuming to make the noodles. It really is. But I think it's worth it in the end. The only thing at Thanksgiving I'll let my wife help me with is all the vegetables because I've got everything going. And like I said, I've got my timing down almost to a T. So all she's got to do is we really don't have relatives or friends come over for Thanksgiving. So we just fix a little chicken, little turkey breast. She pulls it out of the oven and she slices it. The reason why she slices it, I'm busy with everything else. I can make the Alfredo, worked for an Italian family for a couple of years. Ooh. Ooh. That, I like that. I like that idea. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I started fixing chicken marsala last year when everything was going on and the restaurants were closing. Yeah, I started making chicken marsala. Had to quit fixing for a while because we were starting to get fat off of it. She knows how to and loves to cook. It's her fault. I'm a big guy. Yeah, I was always fixing chicken marsala, uh, chicken parmesan. Oh yeah, my wife loves the chicken parmesan. I take the chicken, fry it up, make sure it's not greasy. Mm. Unfortunately, end up using store bought marinara in a jar because my grandma's recipe. I've never been able to find it. I've never been able to duplicate it, but I can still taste it. And I haven't found a recipe that I actually liked after I made it. Fix that up. Ooh. And I know one thing I want to do. Next year, if there are no restrictions at Mardi Gras, I have got to go take my wife down to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. But instead of New Orleans, I'm going to go take her to Mamou. Take her to where the real celebration is. I make my own. It's not that hard, really. I have not found a recipe for marinara that I really liked. I've made several, and each one has its own little thing about it I didn't like. And it's enough to where I can't add my own ingredients to improve the taste. because I am so picky about it. I am so picky. Salt and seasoning. I think my problem is the fact that I want to compare it so much to my grandmother's that nothing will ever equal hers. And that's the problem, is that I keep comparing it to hers because I think hers is the, what would be the mark of excellence. Yeah, I know I can't do that. I know I can't. But I always compare everything to her style, the way she fixed it. But that was one thing she never taught me. That was the one thing she never did. Like I said, she never wrote anything down, so I never had anything to go by. But I tell you what, my grandfather, he was a happy man. Every day when he came home from work, she had something different sitting right there in front of him. And he always had a smile on his face when he got through eating. Oh, yeah. That was her secret recipe? Yeah, it was. She was a little Cajun woman and she could fix a killer marinara. And she used it in everything. She did. I don't even think my mother knew how to fix it. I don't think so. My aunt, who could cook, I'm not sure she even knew. Monday night, I made chicken and homemade noodles for dinner. We had, well, with us not having hot water, we're trying to be careful about what we're fixing. Yeah, Monday night we had pizza. Um, what did we have last night? That's bad if I can't remember what I ate for dinner 12 hours ago. Oh, chicken fried steak. My wife fixed a chicken fried steak. She burned the bottom of it, and the gravy was okay. It wasn't very thick. It was tasty. It was very tasty, but it just wasn't very thick. Kind of like I can make a lasagna and have it come out perfect. My wife makes a lasagna and it's like it comes out in a soup. It's so watery. And I watched her make it. She made it my way. And I still don't know what she did wrong. I still don't. She did it exactly the way I told her to. Hers comes out with so much water. She gets frustrated about it. It's like, don't worry about it. It still tastes good. Okay, while this is going on, let us go see if we can find somebody to raid this morning. Let's go find somebody to share the love with. Let us see. Let us see. Who shall we pick? I think this will be the perfect person. Perfect person. He says it's his first exploration trip. So let's go give him a shake up this morning. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for coming in. I do greatly appreciate it. I hope y'all had a good time today because I know I did. Thank you for the raids. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the subs, the resubs, the laughs, the chat. I loved it all. I will be back at 5 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. And until that time, y'all take care, be safe, have yourselves a great day. Try to stay warm out there. All right. Thank y'all so much. Have a good day.